Hey there, it's Lacy J from Space Bear Media, the makers of Lost in My 40s. Did you know that you can go to spacebearmedia.com right now to access all our content, including our weekly video pre-shows where your hosts ponder ethical questions related to the week's episode and answer some fun questions just for, well, fun. Speaking of fun, if you have it thanks to our content, please consider rating or reviewing Lost in My 40s on your favorite app or recommend us to a friend who loves Lost. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Lost in My 40s. We have made it to episode 20. It's a Jack episode. It's called Do No Harm, and it's the first episode we lose a main character. Can't wait.
Main is a little... it's a little overblown.
We'll debate that later.
Come on.
I think we'll debate that later. But what I need from you now, dear, is an update on our power rankings. Where did we finish after last week?
We finished with Locke and Kate swapping positions. Locke is again in first place with Kate in second, and old reliable steed Jack bringing up third place. I mean, no one's going to be surprised by this. Bottom of the barrel, Shannon. Likely to remain there forever. And then second place, we still have Ethan tied with Sawyer. So,
wow.
Yeah. I mean, I feel at this point Sawyer's fate is in his own hands, unless Ethan comes back from the dead like Charlie was worried about.
I know that Sawyer's got his problems, but is he really equal to a psycho? Kidnapper?
Well, no. I mean, the psycho came in 2 episodes, got himself really, really low. With Sawyer's done it as just sort of a, I don't know, sort of like an ass itch. It just doesn't go away.
Wow.
And
He's
then
just a little smarmy sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes, true.
Yeah. I mean, and the nicknames are at some point it's just like, okay, you're exceedingly clever. Yeah. Anywho, we got and behind him we've got Michael rounding out the bottom 3.
All right. So, Derek, you ready to give us episode 20?
I am.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, it is day 41 on the island, and the episode starts with Jack frantically trying to save Boone's life. Kate is pressing down on Boone's chest to stop the bleeding while Jack is having Son get scissors and diapers from the drink cart. Then Jack has her switch places with Kate and then orders Hurley to get some kind of mesh, I guess to stop the bleeding. But of course Hurley's about to pass out with all the copious amounts of blood coming out of Boone.
Did you guys notice while all of this chaos is going on that they had a heartbeat thumping in the background? Maybe watch it again.
I did not, actually.
I noticed it. Yeah, just faintly in the background. There's
really?
Thump, 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 thump through this in all of this chaos.
Are you sure you weren't hearing your own pulse through your ears or something?
No. I mean, I don't know how I would be sure of that. So no, I'm not. But I'm pretty sure it was there in the episode.
It probably was. I probably didn't notice it because I drink.
I was too busy feeling sick from I feel like the cameraman had Parkinson's in this first scene.
All the shaking.
Why you gotta come at the cameraman like that? I'm sure they were supposed to do that because it makes it feel chaotic.
Or maybe he was a spastic, or she was a spastic. Who knows? In either case, we had moved up. We had moved the couch a little bit, and I was watching it on the big TV, and I literally just had to look away for the first part of it because I was like, "Oh my god, this is going to make me sick." The camera was jumping around so much.
Well, I think that's the point. That's the opening scene with the airplane and everything going crazy.
It's like the entire Bourne Supremacy. It's all just jerky cameras and quick zooms and everything. Like, my god.
That's true. A lot of action films are like that, dizzying. But
there was one. I want to say
Saving Private Ryan. That was amazing.
Was Cloverfield the one that made people physically sick? in the theaters?
It wouldn't surprise me.
Maybe, because it was like the whole thing was from a handheld camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was so, I mean, like the Blair Witch was the same kind of thing.
Yeah, but the Blair Witch I don't think that it was a big thing that it made people like actually sick. But during Cloverfield, I think people in the theaters would have to like bolt so that they could go vomit.
Yeah.
Wow,
I saw it and developed epilepsy in the aftermath.
No, you did not.
It's a good story. It's a good story.
Yeah.
Also, way to work in a J.J. Abrams reference, Christy.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys can't see, but she's beaming with a smile right now. Anyway, Derek, you were doing something before we all interrupted.
So Jack tells Kate to go raid Sawyer's liquor stash when all of a sudden Boone's lung collapses. And Jack takes some kind of long needle and peroxide and just rams that needle right into his chest to open a hole so he could start breathing again.
So
should have grabbed. Did he have one of those pens that he needed?
I was
to get
just
earlier?
going to say I was disappointed he didn't use a pen.
He said, "Hey Ben, can I borrow a pen?"
Well, side note, it was a knitting needle.
Oh, is that what it was?
It was a knitting needle, and this was post 9/11.
You can't take knitting needles on air.
Yes,
Because that
you
needle was-
absolutely can, and I do it on almost every flight I take because just in case. I will now
really?
have 2 long things that I can poke people with.
Stabbers.
Just I feel like maybe I'm going to take some knitting needles. I'm
Right?
flying in a couple weeks. I'm thinking I'm watching all this shit all over the news about crazy people on
Duct taping
airplanes
people to
getting
seats
duct taped to their seats and
Yeah.
stuff. I
Maybe
I do need
you
some
should
needles.
definitely actually
Wield
also
those
bring
things.
a ball of yarn, not just the
Oh,
knitting
so they
needle.
think that I'm knitting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
With a pair of brass knuckles embedded.
Oh
I can
my God.
imagine. I can
People
imagine
always like,
somebody
why are you-
getting mouth.
People are always asking me why I'm knitting when I'm on a plane, and I'm like, oh, I just like to knit, but really it's so that I can have the knitting needles with me.
Gonna practice my
Wow.
stabbings.
Always be prepared, I guess.
Yes.
Please, FAA,
All right.
don't take that away from me.
Oh no. So Jack stabs Boone in the chest.
Yep, and as he's putting the tube into his chest, we go to our first flashback. And it is Jack is tying a bow tie for a guy in a tuxedo who's identified as Silverman. And Jack asks him if he is nervous for the big responsibility, and Silverman can still back out, but he replies it's just a stupid speech.
It's Scott Farkas. Scott Farkas. He was the bully in Christmas Story. He had yellow
Really?
eyes.
Right. No, I remember the redhead freckled kid.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I thought he was in Deadwood too. I thought he played like a minor role in Deadwood as the Irish kid who talks about sometimes I get drunk and shits me pants, but it might have been a different
That was
guy.
the same guy. We'll have to look it
I
up.
think it was. I think it was.
Well, I mean, he's an actor. It wouldn't
I didn't soil
surprise
the
me.
letter when I sold myself.
It's funny.
It's a
He's
miracle.
never. I don't really see him in any big roles, but every now and then he'll randomly show up in a show, and you're like, "Dude, it's Scott Farkas." So I don't know. That's
What
how
the
I
Farkas?
react anyway.
What, the Farkas? Is that
What the
Yeah.
Fargus?
God. All right. So he's back to
All right.
Farkas telling Jack not to shoot his eye out, I guess.
Yeah, shoot your eye out, kid. All right, so it appears that it's for Silverman's wedding until the tailor walks in and says, okay, it is the groom's turn, meaning it's for Jack's wedding, and Silverman is the best man. And then Silverman then tells Jack that he can still back out. So we're, yeah.
I thought that scene was just kind of like, really?
And this is where the
Ooh,
movie
like the fake out, like, oh, it's Jack's wedding, really? Ooh, like,
Yeah.
come on.
So if he did, would he be saving Silverman?
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
All right, so we're back in the caves, and
I love it. It's like a fart in church.
No, excuse me. A fart in church would be hilarious.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
because
That's
man
true.
who fart in church sits in on pew. So
They cannot all be Rembrandts.
What you did just now was just church.
Oh, damn. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, you actually are right. I just churched y'all.
Oh, that's great.
You're never getting through this episode, Derek.
I know.
So back in the caves, Jack discovers that Boone's leg has a closed fracture and he's losing a lot of blood from the wounds, including the still open one on his chest. And Boone is gasping and moaning, but Jack says, "Boone, you're not going to die. I'm going to save you." And then we cut to the lost title screen.
Yeah, it's a bad sign.
Yeah.
You make promises.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Doctors should
Jack
never
makes a
make
promise.
promises.
You're doomed.
That's just a bad sign. Ben
So now
knows
we're on
this. This is one of our favorite things. I force him to watch like Gordon Ramsay cooking shows all the time.
my God.
And he's
love him.
figured
I
out
love
the
Gordon
pattern
Ramsay.
that the whatever chef is like, "Oh, mine is the best and Gordon's going to love it." Ben's like, "You're going home."
You're going home, dude.
Always.
Yep, every
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Always,
That's a
every
one out of
time.
5 stars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't come with the confidence. It's a no, just
My favorite is
quiet,
like,
quiet confidence, maybe.
you wombat. I don't know. He uses the word wombat.
He does,
Oh
as
my
an insult.
God,
It's
you
great.
wombat.
Oh, fuck. All right, lost title screen.
Okay, so we're on the beach and Jin is working on the boat that is being built at an incredible pace with Michael, Walt, and Sawyer, and they're cooking. They're sitting there nearby cooking. Claire walks by and Sawyer asks if she wants some fish, but she says no. And she asks, when is the raft going to be ready? And Michael says, about a week, and she walks off. So Michael and Sawyer agree that Jin is working hard on the raft because he wants to get off the island, due to his not very good situation with Sun. So Kate comes running up all hot and sweaty, asking Sawyer for all of his
Yummy.
alcohol. Yep. Which he gives up surprisingly easy. I mean, he didn't even argue with her. He just, here you go.
Mhm.
I think because at heart he's not a bad guy all the way deep down, and he could see that she was clearly in the middle of an emergency, and
Yeah.
it's like, don't fucking ask me questions. Just give me
Yeah.
what I'm fucking asking you for. And he was
What
like,
I
okay,
get in
here's
Plus,
trade,
maybe it
Freckles.
Yep. Well, plus it's hot and sweaty Kate asking I'd give her anything.
She looked really
Yeah.
particularly cute in
Yes.
this episode. So
Yes. So she
Yeah.
said that Boone fell off a cliff while hunting boar, to which Sawyer replies, the boar that they never seem to get.
That's why.
Are you just laughing at the idea of Boone falling off a cliff?
Well, yes.
It's like he didn't say anything else.
Yes.
Boone fell off a cliff. Ha ha ha.
Yes.
These are the moments that sustain me.
So this is
Oh,
probably one of
no.
your favorite episodes,
he
huh?
should have just
Yes.
flapped his eyebrows.
I know, seriously.
Slow the fall.
Whoa.
So she leaves with the alcohol, and then we're back at the caves, and Jack is sewing Boone up while Boone keeps muttering, "I'm sorry." Jack realizes that Boone needs a blood transfusion and will figure it out after he gets his legs set. Sun takes over and tells Jack to get
Anybody
some
else
air.
think the blood transfusion should take precedence over the broken leg?
You would think.
Well,
I just feel like, I've worked in an emergency room. It's a veterinary emergency room, but if you have somebody who needs a blood transfusion, I feel like that's the first priority. But I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe he just really needed that leg straight before he could focus.
no clue. I work on computers and shit like that. I got no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Triage.
Yeah. Because why set a leg if you're going to die of blood loss?
Right.
Anyway.
So Jack walks out of the makeshift medical tent, and Charlie starts asking him all kind of questions about Locke and Shannon. Where are they? And Jack just yells at him that he doesn't know. And we go to the second flashback of the episode. And we're at a dinner party where there's a woman telling a story about how she blew a tire 2 years ago, and her car went over the median, and she was hit head on by an SUV, I believe, and it broke her back. And she was told that it was beyond repair, but that Jack promised her that he would fix her, and he did. And she said she can now dance at her wedding with him, and that he is her hero.
Is it me, or did they cast somebody that looks like it could have been Jack's sister?
You think so?
I really
know.
do. I really do. I feel like they've got this. Their eyes are really, really similar. They just look a lot alike. And I kind of feel like, I don't know. I don't know if that was intentional or if it's just me that thinks that. But
Maybe the casting person was from
Do they
Arkansas.
need really more sister fucking?
I know. That's kind of what I was thinking.
Yes. Go with that theme.
It's
Does
Julie
anybody
Bowen.
else think? Yes, that's true. It is Julie Bowen. Does anybody else think that when she's giving this speech that Jack just looks really uncomfortable?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
definitely.
Okay.
He doesn't
threw-
like being in the spotlight. He doesn't want to be the hero.
Yeah.
You know, but he is.
He just can't help it.
He can't help it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So now we're back on the island, and Jack is preparing to set Boone's leg, telling Son that he is beyond herbal remedies when she comes in with a stick. I guess he was going to give her an herbal remedy.
When she comes in with a stick.
Yep. But
What
she
the fuck am I
puts the
supposed to
stick
do
in.
with a stick?
Yeah. What kind of herbal remedy is that?
Like
But she puts it in
ancient
Boone's
Chinese
mouth.
secret.
Yeah.
I know it's just Korean, but
So she puts the stick in Boone's mouth and holds his shoulders, and Jack says, "Here we go," and pulls the leg, causing Boone to really cry out in a lot of pain.
Have you ever had a
Oh,
bone
yeah.
split?
That scream
No.
was horrible to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, luckily, I've never had any broken bones or anything.
me neither.
I had a broken toe that was almost 90 degrees from the way it should be. And when the hospital said that, you can better believe I was screaming.
Yeah.
When
Yeah,
they said, "Here we go."
My heel bone was shattered into 7 pieces, and I've had 3 surgeries, and it's
That's
still not
painful shit.
completely better. So I fucking win the orthopedic Olympics.
I think you lose the orthopedic Olympics.
Yeah.
Just let me have the win. I mean, really? You just take that from me?
The gold star.
Yeah. I actually wrote down in my notes, I know this bone pain. It hurts.
Giggity.
Well, yeah, I know that bone pain too.
So after the screaming, we cut to Kate running through the jungle, and she falls and breaks most of the liquor bottles. Alcohol abuse.
Alcohol abuse. That's what you get, drinking and running.
Yep, and she hears a noise in the trees and comes across Claire, who is obviously in labor. And Claire tells Kate to leave her alone, but realizes she's about to have a baby. So Claire denies that she's having contractions and unable to walk, so Kate starts screaming for help. Jen can hear them on the beach and runs into the jungle and comes across them, where Kate sends him with the backpack to go get Jack, the doctor, as Jen called him. Jack,
I
love
that
when
the
he
only
comes-
person who comes running is the person who doesn't speak English.
Exactly.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
I love how when he comes upon them and sees what's happening, he just goes, "Oh,
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
kind of like, oh, shit.
oh, yeah."
Yeah. So back at the caves, Jack is making a needle from bamboo while having Son ask him what his blood type is. Jack says, Jack says that bamboo is not sharp enough to penetrate a vein when Boone says his blood type is A negative. He kind of whispers it to Jack. But he also says, Shannon. Sister.
Womp womp.
So Jack sends Charlie out to find the other's blood type and Son to go find Shannon. And then we cut to Shannon and Saeed in the jungle, and it appears that they might be lost. But he leads her to the beach where he has some kind of romantic picnic set up for them.
Yeah, it was like pretty fancy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
island.
40 days
Right.
on a deserted island, and you've got like this picnic set up. He's trying to get
He
laid.
really is. And have you noticed his
Yeah.
utility? Like the amount of like poonhoundery he's involved in directly affects his utility. Like he's just fucking useless now.
Yep.
Oh, when he pays attention to a woman, he
Yeah.
can't build
Yeah.
like radios or
Yeah,
whatever.
like
It's
he fails the bros before hose test big time.
oh boy.
So Charlie comes back to Jack and says he found someone with type A blood, but they don't know whether if it's positive or negative, and that there's only 4 people, there's 4, that knew what their blood types are. Even Charlie, I think he commented, he goes, I don't even know what my blood type is.
I know what mine is.
Actually, I found out what mine was last year. I bought one of those blood type tests. I'd never known it. It's A negative, actually.
I
I'm O
honestly
positive.
can't remember.
Yeah.
I think I might be the universal donor, whatever that is.
Oh.
O negative
Jack.
is universal.
negative.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Jack. Yeah.
And I've also heard, I don't know if this is true, but I've heard in a pinch, you can use coconut water.
Instead
In the
of blood?
veins?
That's what I've heard. I don't know if it's true. I am not a doctor, so I don't want anyone taking medical advice from me. But
Oh, so all those people doing home blood transfusions shouldn't
just in
try
case
coconut
anybody
water
gets on a deserted island,
on your
I don't want
advice.
them to be rescued and then sue me.
You have
Bitch on
people
this
that
podcast told me I could put
You have people that'll
coconut
drink
water.
bleach, so.
yeah.
That's
I mean, I'm
true.
seriously. There's people that are like, well, we're going to do a blood transfusion with my piss.
Nice.
This day and age, man. Some of these
I'll just
people.
use alcohol.
People do
Seriously.
do weird things with their piss. I don't understand
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Google says coconut water is identical to human blood plasma and can be safely injected directly into the bloodstream.
Yay!
It's not an
I'm in.
optimal IV solution for rehydration because it doesn't have enough sodium content to stay in the bloodstream. So it's for hydration. It's not in lieu of a
Transfusion.
blood
Right, okay.
transfusion. But yeah, it looks like you could, if you were dehydrated, give yourself coconut water.
Good to know.
Through the vein, I mean. All right. Now that we've saved all of your lives
Yes.
in case
With
of
coconut water.
plane crash.
Okay, so Sun arrives with the sea urchin and shows Jack that the spines are much sharper than the bamboo. So there's her,
And also hollow,
yes, and hollow.
like a
Yeah.
needle. Yeah.
Yeah. And filled with herbs.
Sticks.
Sea urchin is good. Jack tells him that he is O negative, which is the universal donor, but it's still risky and could cause Boone to go into shock. And Charlie asks if that could kill Boone, but Jack just says he's not going to die. And we cut to the next flashback. And it's Jack. He's playing the piano when his fiancée shows up telling him two girls are checking him out. I think he asks about them, and she said one is cute, the other is just skanky or something like that. Trashy.
I think it was
Trashy.
trashy, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
it was trashy.
Trashy. Okay.
Yeah.
So they play Heart and Soul together, which I didn't know that was the name of that song. And she says he doesn't
Really?
have to.
You didn't?
I didn't know that was the name of the song.
I actually
heard
didn't
it.
either.
Oh, wow.
Didn't
Yeah.
you watch Big?
Yeah, I did.
I knew
but I
it.
didn't know it was called
Yeah.
Heart and Soul.
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
them dancing on that giant keyboard.
Yeah.
Okay, so she tells Jack he doesn't have to do it, but he replies that he's going to do it and just needs to figure out the right way to say it. So again, you're thinking, is he trying to back out of the wedding? But actually, it's talking about the vows. And you finally hear the name of the fiancée, and her name is Sarah.
Oh, do they say it then? I thought it was
Yes.
later in the episode for some reason. Okay.
No, I saw that in the notes, but it actually said it in this one because Jack goes, Sarah.
I also got annoyed at Jack in this scene because she comes down and he's like, "You're in your PJs." Like, she's in a
Yeah.
fucking hotel. Being in your pajamas in a lobby of a hotel is a right of staying.
Absolutely. I do it all
I
the
mean,
time.
that's just like, what are you talking about? You're
Just
lucky
like
I'm not in
wearing your
my
pajamas
underwear.
when you fly.
Yeah, this is where I'm living right now. I can walk around in what I want. All right.
So then
sorry.
she also tells Jack that he'll come, which I believe is probably talking about his father coming to the wedding. So we're back at the caves, and Jin is yelling at Hurley, Jack, and Hurley points him to the medical tent. And inside, he is saying in Korean that Kate is with Claire in the jungle and that Claire is having contractions. But of course, people really aren't understanding it. So Sun translate, and Jin says the contractions are about 2 minutes apart, but her water hasn't broke and she isn't bleeding. So Jack sends Charlie to tell Kate to wait
Wait a
until the
second.
contraction.
Hold on. How did he know they were 2 minutes apart? Did she say that? Because he wasn't standing there for 2 minutes.
No, but yeah, I remember him saying 2 minutes. I don't
yeah,
think
I think he just kind of guessed. I don't know.
He was
Huh.
lurking in the bushes watching Claire the whole time.
Yeah.
Ew. That doesn't
Waiting for
sound
it to
like
crown.
Jin's MO. That's some lock shit, maybe.
Yeah, seriously.
I am glad that Jin and Sun are finally talking, not like about anything important to their relationship, but at least there's communication happening again. So that's nice.
Yeah.
So Jack sends Charlie to tell Kate to wait until the contractions are 60 seconds apart and then start to push until the head appears and then to push as hard as she can. And Jack says he cannot leave Boone and that Kate will have to deliver the baby. And Kate didn't seem too excited about that.
No, she did not.
And so now it cuts to nighttime, and Claire says her contraction has stopped and she isn't having the baby. But then she stands up and her water breaks. And then she starts really getting hysterical, saying she can't have the baby. What?
I said sploosh.
Yes.
Oh, I think sploosh is something different, dear.
I agree with you. However, I think that the word also works in this case.
All right.
Yeah, no kink shaming here.
Right.
All right.
So she keeps saying she cannot have the baby, but Kate assures Claire that Jack is coming. But we're back at the tent, and Boone is quieted down finally, and he keeps telling Jack that he screwed himself up pretty bad, huh? But then he says that a plane fell on him and even mentions the hatch. And that Locke said not to tell anyone about the hatch.
Whoops.
And before he can say any more, he passes out. But I think he says Shannon again. And we end up cutting to Shannon and Saeed making out on the beach.
This just gives me the creepies. Like, something about these two together just creeps me out. I don't know what it is.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I like Shannon better when she's with Saeed.
True.
Yeah,
but I like
she's
him
a
a lot.
lot better person.
In
But
Shannon.
Yeah, but I like him a lot less when he's with her. Like, and it's not a good trade-off.
Why? Because he's not doing your chores?
Yeah, he's not building radios.
He's not building radios, so you mad at him?
Why is building radios my chores?
Well, because you were the one complaining that he wasn't doing it. I don't know.
I think we're still in survival mode here. Now, if his entire MO is, hey, we need to repopulate on the island, okay, I get it. Little romance, you know, start spreading the seeds, but I don't know. He's kind of a git when he's chasing tail.
You're just jelly.
No, I'm actually not.
He's just one of those. He's one of those girlfriend guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Shannon.
Yeah, like a guy who just has to have a girlfriend. He's one of those girlfriend guys.
Oh, a girlfriend guy.
Ah.
You know?
It's like I love
Girlfriend
it's
guy.
like I love you, man. Like Paul
So
Rudd
they're
and
like-
I love you, man.
Opposite of fuckboys.
Yeah.
Girlfriend
Yes.
guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Oh, okay.
Paul Rudd and I Love You Man was
Yeah.
definitely a girlfriend guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Got it. I'm with you.
So Shannon tells him that Boone is not her biological brother, but actually her stepbrother, and that he is in love with her. And so Saeed asks her, how does she feel about him? And she says she does love him, but not in that way. And then all of a sudden, Saeed kind of says, maybe we should go back. But she doesn't want to go back, just wants to take it slow.
She's like, no, I want to make out. Let's stay.
Yeah.
So I have two things to say about this scene. One, imagine it like from Saeed's point of
Oh
the
my God.
hell was that? Oh,
I'm so sorry. That's
Sorry.
the reminder for me to make a Lost post.
for the page. That's so funny. All right, let me start that one part over. All right, so from Saeed's point of view, you know, when you hear the words, I need to tell you something, you always know that it's bad, right? But you never think it's going to followed by like, I fuck my brother. Like,
Well, she didn't
Yes.
tell him that they
no,
got
she didn't. But I just like, I imagine, you know, where it's like, wait a second, your brother's in love with you? I don't know.
Yeah, Saeed looked like he was kind of weirded out by the whole...
That's what I'm saying. Like, from his
Conversation.
point of view, I think I would be too. Like, what do you mean your brother's in love with you, you weirdos?
He had the same look on his face back when she invited him to tie knots with her one night.
The
Okay,
kind
so
of
that's the
Remember?
second thing. That's the
Yeah.
second thing I was just going to bring up is, what is this? I need to take it slow. Weren't you trying to tie him up like 4
seriously.
days ago?
Right.
Yeah.
Hell, Shannon. This is, talk about mixed signals.
Yeah. Shannon proving herself yet again to be an unconstant idiot.
Yeah, I liked her when she was offering to like tie him up, and now she's all like, "Oh no, I have to go slow because my brother's in love with me."
I imagine
Oh, shut
Saeed
up.
he's like, you think this sort of romantic setup builds itself? Fucking cock tease.
Yeah, I mean, he had a blanket, he had flowers,
Seriously.
torches, and
Seriously, he probably had that. He probably had to make that blanket by hand.
he's like,
all those torches too.
the loom. It's like,
With the knitting needles. He made the blanket with the knitting needles.
There we go.
I just feel like all of that work, and it's like, by the way, I fuck my brother.
Cool.
God, that's a buzzkill.
Seriously.
Jesus Christ.
I kill
That's my
several
point.
things. Yeah.
Yep. So we're back with Claire, and Charlie and Jen arrive, and Charlie tells Kate that Jack is not coming because he is giving a blood transfusion. He also tells her that she has to deliver the baby, but she really doesn't want to. Claire is scared to have the baby because she doesn't know what Ethan may have done to the baby. And then back at the tent, the blood transfusion isn't working because Boone's leg has compartment syndrome, which is causing all of the blood to pool in his leg. And that's when Jack says it wasn't caused by a fall and that his leg was actually crushed. And then Son decides just to yank the IV out of his arm and says, "You have given enough." And then Jack asks Hurley to go get Michael from the beach. So we cut to a flashback.
Was it Hurley when he says that when he sees Jack, though, he says, "You look kind of goth."
Oh, yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
You look
totally
kind
did.
of goth.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious. Yeah, what is Son doing just yanking IVs out of arm?
I know. I thought she grabbed. You've given enough.
She was right. Like, he looked like
It wasn't
fucking
working,
hell
yeah.
and needed to stop, but...
Well, and he's one of those guys he's like, no, I'm determined. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to make it work.
Yeah.
She had no choice but to yank it out of his arm because he wouldn't have stopped until he gave so much that he died.
Yeah.
Right.
And they need the doctor.
Yeah. You're right.
So we're in a flashback, the fourth one, and Jack is drinking by the pool at the hotel, and he's working on his vows when his father shows up. His father sits down next to him, puts his feet in the pool like Jack, and takes a really big swig from the bottle. And he reads Jack's vow and tells him it's very nice, but Jack says it's actually Sarah's vows.
Okay, were they nice, though? Because I thought they were kind of
cheesy.
dumb.
Yeah.
They
I
were-
have it here.
Yeah.
My heart skips beats at the sound of your voice. My skin warms to the touch of your fingers. Where you go, I will go. What?
Isn't that the
Yeah.
cheesy stuff they write for wedding vows? I don't know.
I just like, that just sounded stupid.
I just
Yeah,
don't
it
really
was-
like the idea of writing your own vows anyway, because, my heart skips a beat when you're around. That's not a vow.
That's a medical
Well, that's
problem.
true.
Yeah.
It's
That's
also,
a medical problem. It's called arrhythmia.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
also dangerous.
Yeah.
Right.
Some people don't even write like, I promise you this, I promise you that, I promise you this.
Y'all
Some
didn't do
people
any
just,
vows,
like-
did you?
I wrote mine, but we never ended up doing them.
Yeah,
Okay, I didn't think y'all did.
yeah. We just ended
I
up.
remember your vows.
Nick, who married us, he just wrote what he wrote out all of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were planning on it, and I guess I'm like Jack. I didn't get around to it, and by the time we were to Vegas, like it was just like, oh, let's just have Nick do it. Is really what happened.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jack says that he can't write his own vows, and his father asks if he loves her, and Jack replies, absolutely, to which Christian says, why are you sitting out here?
But when he says
And Jack-
absolutely, you can tell he's telling himself that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
He's not like, he's like, absolutely. Like this is what I'm supposed to feel.
And Jack is worried that he can't be the husband or father that she wants him to be, and that he only asked her to marry him because he saved her life.
Yes.
And he asks his father if he should marry her, and Christian says, commitment is what makes you tick, Jack. But his problem is that he isn't good at letting go.
Which doesn't bode well for Boone.
No, it doesn't.
No.
There's one.
Which, in the next scene, we're back at the caves,
Oh,
and
hang
Michael
on.
is there. Yeah.
I wanted to say one thing about this scene. One of the things that Christian mentions when he is in this, sitting there with Jack, is that there was some screaming kid like in first class on his airplane. And I don't know why, but that scene or what he said, I guess, just kind of triggered the memory. Ben, do you remember when we were flying back from Hawaii, from Maui, and It was us and our two friends that we went there with, and there were so many screaming babies on the plane on the way home that we got to the point where we thought that the plane had crashed and we had died and that this was hell.
Yeah.
Well, that's
It was hell. Be a plane full of screaming babies.
It was like Christian 6 babies.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I think that Christian sounds really fucking entitled here, though, when he's like a screaming baby in first class, you know?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
First class. Babies shouldn't
should be
scream.
in first class, too. There's no fucking age rule, you know?
No, I guess he thinks there's a silence rule, maybe.
Well, you know, they can get served booze, too. That might quiet them down a little bit.
The baby?
Yes.
Yeah. They're, you know, the size of a normal bottle to a baby. That's just like a good night right there.
Yeah.
He just has such a Karen attitude, you know?
Kids have to travel, of course. You know, even when we were on this flight, we weren't, you know, standing up and being like, shut up, you're fucking babies. I think we were it got to the point where it was so much and it was so maddening. Like I cracked and I was just crying because I was like, I can't, no more crying, please. Never stopped the whole flight.
You should have just kept drinking.
I probably was doing that.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. Go ahead, Derek.
So we're back at the caves, and Michael is there with a cargo container, however they got it there. And they're preparing to amputate Boone's leg because that's the only way to save him. And
Is that
Jack
what
tells
that was, a cargo container?
Yeah, the close slammed the door on his leg.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out, like, to me, it looked like a dumbwaiter.
Yeah.
You know, where you like put food in and you pull the thing down, but I'm just like, would that be something that was in a plane? I couldn't figure out what that actually.
747s, they had those, yeah.
Yeah. They have dumbwaiters in
two
levels. Yeah.
But remember the scene where Jack found the cave? There was the cargo container there because that's where his dad's coffin was.
That's right.
Yeah. So, because I would think, how the hell did the cargo container, you know, how did you move that? But you're right.
How do they have so many torches?
Strange
things happen.
I actually have a note about that in one of the other episodes that we have coming in the future that I'm like, how did these people learn how to make torches? And, you know, like, I don't have that skill. I don't know.
They don't have a cobbler yet, but apparently they've got a torch maker somewhere.
They've had a torch maker since the get-go. And I think what it is, I think it's like Arts or one of these other extras that's just like toiling 24/7. We don't have enough torches. Keep working.
The ones you see wandering in the background all the time.
Yeah.
This is what you get for being sidecast.
Exactly.
You work.
You're not attractive enough to not make torches.
So Jack tells Michael that Locke lied about the accident. And then we cut to the jungle, and Kate is trying to get Claire to push, but she's actually trying to hold it in, which I don't think is possible.
No, that doesn't work.
Probably
holding
not.
her breath. I think she was holding her breath.
She absolutely was.
And she says the baby knows that she didn't want it and that she wanted to give it away. So Kate asked her, now, does she want the baby now? And when Claire nods yes, she said the baby knows that too, and that the baby is all of us.
I think Claire's exact words were, babies know this stuff.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah.
They don't.
They don't. I mean, they don't know this stuff at all.
They really don't.
You didn't
But
want
you can't
me,
expect
Mom.
too much from Claire. She thinks that psychics know things too.
Right, exactly.
Well, I mean, you gotta like, at least within this story, the psychic was pretty dead on. So
well, yeah,
That's
but
true,
this
too.
is fiction.
Yeah,
dead on. Yes. So Claire resumes her pushing, and Jin holds Charlie back from going over there because he seems to be anxious to be with her. And then we're back to Boone, and Jin shows Jack that Boone is coughing up blood. So I think he's pretty much fucked.
Yeah, that's not
So
good.
Jack starts moving him to the cargo container to cut off his leg, but Sun is protesting, saying he's bleeding inside and that won't help him. And then Jack just yells at her, "Don't tell me what I can't do."
Which are the exact words Locke used.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right?
exactly.
Yeah.
And, you know, and given some of the characters like talents with edged weapons. I mean, you remember Michael with that axe earlier, and he like swung it back and just got the handcuffs that Jin had on the plane. Like he hit that thing dead center. I think you need to get Michael. He needs to be your amputator.
Yeah, seriously. Why don't they have the axe with them?
Seriously.
Hey, Ben.
Yeah, babe?
Got any special occasions coming up that you need a card for?
Is this a trick question?
No, it's an advertisement.
Is this about barbcards.com again?
Bingo.
So I suppose you're going to remind me that each handmade card is only $1.50.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't come with busy backgrounds or flowery poetry.
You got it. Barbcards.com offers to-the-point communication within several different categories, including our favorite, potty mouth. And if you can't find what you want, barbcards.com can do customizations.
Can I still get all of my cards for no more than $4 shipping, no matter the size of the order?
You know it. Barbcards.com has got all you need. Hey, Ben.
Oh my God, what are we selling now?
Merch.
Our merch?
Yes, sir. Shirts, coffee mugs, wine tumblers, bottle openers, stickers, magnets, and more. Your choice of product and your choice of Space Bear Media graphic from any of our podcasts.
Please tell me we're not making merch now, too.
Of course not. We'll stick to podcasts, and Pixis products will do the rest.
Thank God. I bet you have more to say, though.
Sure do. Pixis Products is a small business run by a local mom, well, local to us anyway, who needed something else to do besides being a snack bitch.
What?
A snack bitch, also known as a mom with a young child.
There's still more, isn't there?
Yepers! Pixis Products works with other small businesses for supplies, art, and other collaborations at every opportunity, including ours. In fact, Pixis Products even gave Space Bear Media our own storefront on their site. You can find us at shopspacebear.com.
Say what?
You heard me. Go to shopspacebear.com and buy something. Interesting that they have the Jack speak the same words as Locke, because they're setting up like that these two are kind of
rivals,
two sides of the same coin, essentially. They're both very determined and stubborn, but so far sort of in opposition to each other, one being, well, I was going to say man of science, man of faith, which is actually the title of season 2, episode 1. So clearly, these ideas that are just sort of sprinkling a little bit of it into the show now with having him say the same line, and we'll see over the next several episodes how that divide becomes more stark. You know,
Locke definitely has that kind
Derek doesn't know.
Locke has that kind of thread of mysticism and everything that he does, where Jack is very, very sort of like anchored in the reality of things.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So Jack tells Michael that he can leave, and Michael does, and his son gives him this long look of disapproval, and she leaves as well. And then Jack gets ready to cut the leg off, and we cut to the final flashback of the episode, and we are at Jack and Sarah's wedding ceremony, where she is giving her vows to Jack. And then the minister, whoever the officiant is, then tells Jack to say his vows. But then he just pauses for a very long time, finally saying he didn't write any vows. And he says that he's been trying for months and he just couldn't do it. And he explains that he isn't good at letting go. And it appears to me, at least, that he was about to leave her at the altar because he's afraid to fail.
That's definitely the vibe,
Yeah, they start you with the fake out with like it's Silverman's wedding, and then at the end they do the fake out with like, oh my God, he's gonna leave her at the altar. But no.
But instead, he tells her that he didn't fix her, but that she fixed him, and tells her that he loves her and always will.
So cheesy.
Yeah, so
he
why
wrote
am I not
that
at
too.
all? I'm not.
He didn't come up with that off the cuff. He wrote that. He was trying to one up the bitch.
Why am I not at all moved by this scene? I just don't care.
It is. I think the entire thing is specifically done to do that. I think they cast somebody that kind of looks like him. They made it so that there was no chemistry the entire way through, so that you just did not feel like they were supposed to be married.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they don't have the chemistry like she has with Phil Dunphy in Modern Family.
Uh-huh.
Oh, is that who that is? I know I recognize the actress, but
Claire from Modern Family, I think.
oh, I've never watched a second of that show.
They don't have the chemistry of Jack and Kate.
You're right.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
But I do recommend
you're right.
Modern Family. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I've seen an episode here or there, but I've never really watched it.
I think I don't know the whole thing, but I've watched some episodes.
It's got Ed O'Neill in it, doesn't it?
Yes.
It does, yeah.
I love Ed O'Neill.
I think I haven't watched it because when it came out on network TV, I was already off of cable and just on
it's on Hulu now.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah. And it has Sofia Vergara.
Right, she's like married to Ed O'Neill's character, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, stuff with Ed O'Neill, I feel like it's going to be good.
Yes.
At least he will be.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, anyway, so back to the show we're supposed to be talking about.
Yes. So we're
wasn't
back
at
at the
all
island.
moved by that scene, and I just felt like, okay. I mean, I get it, the "you fixed me" line. It's like, okay, like here comes one tear, but I'm pretty much a crier. I cry about everything, and that scene is just like, oh.
No, I did. Yeah, I did too, and I did not cry. Yeah. It was bad.
Okay.
So we're back at the island, and just as Jack is about to pull down the door, Boone says, wait. And Jack tells him he has to, and that is his best chance to survive. And Boone says there's no chance, and tells Jack that he is off the hook for the promise that he made to save him earlier. But Jack is still distraught and kneels by Boone saying he is sorry, but Boone says, don't be. And we cut back to Claire, and she's still pushing.
I wanted to say, like, at that point, I wish Jack would have been like, so Boone, where are the pens, man?
They'll save you. I'll save you with the pens.
Before you die, this is the last chance to tell me where are the fucking pens.
So Claire is still pushing, and Charlie is pacing anxiously. And finally, the head appears, and out comes the baby. And Kate says, you have a little boy, and hands him to Claire. So we cut back to the caves.
Wait, no.
Guys. Oh, we both have
There's
something
all
to say.
kinds of humor can happen here.
Christy, you first.
Jen and Charlie acting like proud papas, between the pacing around
sweet.
And then when they're like congratulating each other that the baby is born. And it's like, what did you do? You stood there,
Yeah.
But it's sweet. It's sweet how like happy they are.
It's very sweet.
I thought the whole scene was good, but it could have been slightly better if like as the baby's head crowned, it was actually Locke who like pops out.
Lock in a box.
Lock in a box, yeah, exactly.
Lock in a box,
yes.
exactly. And just be like, does anybody want a cup of coffee or something?
Or go a little darker with it, and it's just Ethan crawling out of her vagina.
Ew.
Ew.
Well, they're like, what did Ethan do to my baby? It's like, Ethan is your baby.
Yes.
Crawls out like the kid from The Ring.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That same look on his face.
Well, now that we've taken a beautiful moment and destroyed it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Derek?
All right, so we're back in the caves, and Boone is taking his final breath as he says, tell Shannon, but he dies before he finishes. So then we cut to the next morning, and everybody's happy. Claire's on the beach with her brand new baby, and everyone is all smiles. Then Hurley taps Jack on the shoulder, and the camera cuts, and you see Saeed and Shannon walking up from their romantic interlude. And Jack walks over to them and breaks the news to Shannon, who, she backs away in shock. And then the next scene is she's in the caves weeping over Boone until she just really breaks down and starts crying a lot.
There was one little interesting moment there that you missed before they jumped to the caves, is that after she kind of backs away in shock and you can tell that she's received the news, they flash to Claire holding the baby who's like sucking his thumb. And it goes from like the news of death right back over to this moment.
But also Claire's like up and walking around with the baby already.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, she's fine. Yeah, well, when you have a baby in the jungle, you're able to, just kind of chill out and it's no big deal.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't. How do you know that?
Yeah, it's like a whole thing about like giving birth in the jungle. It's something with high oxygen levels, I think. You're just right back. You're like, fuck it,
I mean,
I'm
all
fine.
those plants, yeah.
Yeah. That's how she lost all the baby weight in 5 minutes as well.
Yes.
That is
Yes,
that is the most full of shit thing said so far today.
Yeah. Baby.
But boon for a baby. That's a good trade.
Whoa, yeah. I mean, sure.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah. Seriously. Depends on the baby's eyebrow game, but
I know. I was saying, anybody going to look at the kid's eyebrows?
So, cut to Jack, and he's on the beach, and he's weeping while he's packing a backpack. And Kate comes over, and Jack tells her it's a beautiful, healthy baby. And he tells Kate that Boone didn't die, but that he was murdered. And he starts walking off. And Kate asks where he's going, and Jack says to find John Locke.
He's
And the
so
episode
ridiculously
ends.
dramatic.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And that is the episode.
It is the episode. Alrighty. Ready for some fun facts?
Yeah.
Sure.
This is where you say yes.
Yeah.
Yes, coconut water or
Well,
babies?
so now that we have saved your life with coconut water, I'm going to teach everybody how to deliver a baby. I got step-by-step instructions from the internet, and they're kind of hilarious. Number 1, stay calm. Number 2, call 911. This does not apply if you are stranded on an island. Number 3, gather all supplies that you can. If they are available, get things like towels, water, ice, blankets. Keep the birthing person hydrated. Most important thing. Do not, this one I love, do not over calm or disagree with the birthing person. Only give encouraging words, not discouraging, or you may incur the wrath.
it's like, really,
literally
right
what
now,
this-
here? Are you
Yeah,
serious?
Can you hold it for a little bit?
You always do this.
The person giving birth will do most of the work, but you need to be ready to catch because babies can come fast. And as they're
Especially if
coming
it's
out,
Locke.
support the baby as it's coming out, but do not pull at all. Once you can see the head, that means you've just got minutes left. And as you're catching, be prepared because once the head is out, the child will rotate a quarter and then a shoulder will pop out and then another shoulder will pop out. You keep supporting, and after the shoulders are out, you want to gently lift upward toward the belly. Once the baby's out, check for breathing. It's actually a common misconception that you have to clear the passageways. If the baby is obviously breathing by way of crying or whatnot, you don't actually have to do that. Then you want to immediately lay the baby on the chest of the person who gave birth to it for warmth. Dry the baby while on the chest, and then wrap and keep warm and give to the happy parents. And then, of course, it says wait for the ambulance. Do not actually cut the umbilical cord as long as you know emergency is on the way. And do not remove the afterbirth, even if it comes out. It should follow about 3 to 5 minutes after giving birth to the baby. But if you pull it or you pull it out or you try to clear it, you can tear the uterine and lining and you can cause hemorrhaging and death.
Oh, wow.
So that's the biggest risk. If you ever have to deliver a baby, just do not touch the afterbirth at all.
Did they say anything about washing your hands?
Before you go back to work or finish your
I'm
meal,
like before
wash your
or after.
hands.
Yeah.
Before, both actually.
Both.
Before,
Yeah.
I mean, I would guess, you probably, if you have time to wash your hands, your hands.
Maybe a little hand
You're catching a lot of,
Yeah.
I mean, you're catching a lot of the stuff. It's not, you're not reaching up
I
in
remember
there.
in 10th grade, we watched a video in biology of a woman giving birth, and it is a mess.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
I remember
Yeah.
that too in high school,
Yeah.
and we had to get like permission to see
Yeah.
it.
I
But I
remember that
remember
too.
that video.
But I've actually been at 2 births. Have any of you been present for a birth?
Nope.
No.
Yep.
My dad watched mine, and he said, "Yeah." He told me, he said it looked like a barbecue, like a
God.
lot of different colors. Yeah, that's what he told me.
I don't know what kind of barbecues your dad has, but
Exactly.
I don't want to come ever.
Yeah.
No, I've been to 2 births, and yes, it's messy and it's gross. But at the same time, it is really, really awesome to watch a new life come into the world. And then, depending on who you're with, I was with family both times, so I was, crying. And
Was it both your sister's kids?
No, my sister's first daughter, I was at the birth, and my friend Emily, I was her Lamaze coach when her daughter Madison was born.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I've never seen a birth. I have watched someone die, though, once.
Well, that doesn't sound like any fun.
No. Well, I was at your house when it happened. I mean, the person didn't die at your house. I was staying at your house when, do you remember my ex-husband's father died? Yeah. And we had flown across the country to stay in your house while that was all going on.
I remember now. Sorry.
Yeah, I imagine watching someone die and watching someone be born, it would be 2 different experiences, which is a lot of what this episode is about, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much.
It is.
Yeah.
The circle of life.
Yes.
All right, so now that all of our
with
listeners...
the circle of life, now Claire has to go to a mountain and
hold
the baby up.
Yes, that's the end of this season that you don't know. She goes to the Black Rock and then holds the baby up. It transforms into Ethan, and then they go hunting.
All right. So now that our listeners are all able to deliver babies and give coconut water, IV fluids, shall we move on to best and worst moments? How about Ben?
I mean, my favorite moment was just when Hurley looked at Jack after he was doing the blood transfusion and just says, "You look kind of goth." I don't know. Just one of those good Hurley moments.
Yeah.
The worst moment, you'd think I'd say like when Boone dies, but I was waiting for that. I think it was when Kate fell down and broke all the bottles of booze.
Yeah, that was such a waste.
That was tragic.
Yeah.
All right, Derek, how about you?
My best moment was Boone telling Jack that he's off the hook for not being able to save him. Hopefully gave Jack some kind of relief, but I don't think it did. And the worst moment was Shannon crying over Boone's body. I don't know, just...
Worst how?
I'm thinking she was genuine.
Soft
just
spot
knowing,
for Shannon. Wow.
Yeah. Knowing, how kind of person she is, but I think she was actually genuinely upset about it.
It did seem that way, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you've only known these other people for 40 days. You've known Boone since you were 8 years old.
Yeah.
It's hard to lose that.
It's it's difficult to watch your lover die.
Oh.
Yes, plus they had that special connection.
Ben, what are your best and worst moments?
I just gave you mine.
Oh my God.
It's my turn.
Guys. Okay. Christy.
Honorable mention, Sun bringing the sea urchin and Kate saying this baby is all of ours. But the really big one is at the end when everybody's so happy that Claire's baby has been born and that they're doing well. And then my worst moment is also at the end when Shannon and Saeed come walking up and Jack tells her about Boone. And so that was very sad.
All right. So my best moment was when Claire tried to hold her breath to keep the baby in. I found that fucking hilarious. I did not have a worst moment. I had a hard time picking bad things out of this episode.
Yeah, me too.
Yes.
But the funny thing about it is that it's not because the episode was so good. It's just because it just kind of was. And I could pick out a few good moments, but the episode overall for me was sort of okay. Yeah. I don't know. I'll talk more about it when we get to characters, I guess, too. But Yeah, let's do that, Derek. What are your best and worst and your fucking kill this week?
My best character was Sun for, really helping Jack, and as basically acting as his nurse during this whole ordeal. And the worst, it was hard for me to find a worse character because, like you said, but I chose Locke just for lying and, causing Jack to not treat Boone the right way with his leg.
Which is funny because technically he's not even in this episode.
Right.
Yeah.
But so for fuck, it's going to be actually an orgy with Sun and Kate.
Oh, all right.
There you go.
Three people's not an orgy, but that sounds fun anyway.
Threesome. Okay. Threesome.
How many does it take to actually get to an orgy?
Is it 4?
I feel like 5 and up.
I think 5, yeah. Because if it's 4, it's either just like,
it's probably 2 couples.
It's like group sex or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, at 5 it becomes an orgy.
I don't know if that's official.
I don't know.
I was going to say I learned something today.
Yeah, me too. And I killed Boone because he's dead.
I killed Boone because it's real
Boone.
this time.
He's good riddance,
Yeah.
Bye. Yeah. How did you feel about? I mean, this is the first big sort of death of the show. Unless you count Joanne, who drowned in the beginning, and Steve.
As we said in the beginning, he was like a main character that died, or a recurring character.
Right. It's a main character. Yeah. So how did you feel about that, Derek? When he died, you didn't care?
I cared. I mean, I felt kind of sorry for him because it really wasn't his fault that he died. He was told to go up there, by Boone, by Locke. But I don't know. He was just
wasn't very
douchey, so I had no problem with him dying. Actually,
I mean, I wonder what his business is going to do now that he's gone.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this, the death. I'm a crier, so I cried a little bit with Shannon, but yeah, it's not like some of the others to come. There is a death in season 3 I'm still not over, and I've seen the show 3 times. So, yeah, it's a good warm-up death, I think, for as the show goes on.
I mean, Shannon died. I wouldn't be too upset either.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
It's that whole family.
Christy, how about your best characters and your worst and fucking and killing?
My best was Sun, just because she's actually an incredible nurse, apparently.
Yeah.
My worst is Locke, just because. And then I'm going to fuck Saeed because he was so romantic. And one thing we didn't mention during that scene was that she was like, oh, you had expectations. And he's like, no, hopes, not expectations. I mean, and
he did say that.
Clearly he hoped to fuck her. But it was
it was a really
sweet.
nice way of saying, I'd love to fuck you, but I'm not going to rape you, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Just somewhere in between. I'm going to wait.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't bring you all the way out here because of the implication.
Right. Yeah, it was sweet. You're right.
And then let's kill Boone just because he's already dead. And I also had a hard time choosing bad people for this one. While we were talking about the birth, I did add Ethan as my second bad person, but I didn't come up with a third. So,
yeah, well, I came up with no worst characters in the same way I had no worst moment. There wasn't anything really bad, but I also didn't find there was too much great, the child being born, obviously, but we knew that was coming. You know what I mean? Yep. I don't know. I also went with Sun as my best character. Same kind of reason. It's just like she was really there for Jack and Boone. And because I didn't have any worse characters, I decided to kill Randy Douchebag Nations again. Just because we haven't brought him up in a little while. He hasn't been killed lately. And so just because. And I'm going to fuck Shannon because I want to get all of that mournful angst fucking. I think that could be fun.
Did you say Randy hadn't been killed recently? I killed Randy I killed Randy 2 weeks ago, I believe.
Oh, did you? I guess I hadn't killed him recently.
Episode 18. You killed him.
How funny. Never mind.
Oh, going back to orgy, I looked it up. In modern usage, an orgy is a sex party consisting of at least 5 members.
Oh, you guys are
Awesome.
right.
Where guests freely engage in open and unrestrained sexual activity or group sex.
If y'all want to know how they know that, you need to tune into Mowage.
Are you plugging our other podcast? I want to go back to Christy's face when I said I wanted to have grief sex with Shannon.
Yeah, you were like, that could be fun. And I'm like, I don't.
Grief sex.
I don't.
Yeah, have you never had that? Oh, I don't know.
Makeup sex, but not grief sex.
Oh, you should try it. It's intense.
Then you find someone that's just someone recently died in their life and say, let's have sex.
Yeah. Somebody
intense.
who's
That sounds like camping sex. That's pretty intense.
Well, like
too.
a lot of people do like to have sex after somebody has died because it's their way of feeling alive. So I guess I get that.
Grief sex. Yeah. Look
grief
it up.
sex.
Grief sex.
Hang out
I
at the
just
cemetery.
don't know that
And
I
if
would
you
want
have
grief sex
that-
with her.
Oh, I see. So if you have that with 4 or more people, you're actually having a grief orgy.
Good grief.
Good grief.
Maybe I should put it in my will that I want everyone who comes to the funeral to have a grief orgy.
sex.
Grief orgy
Yeah.
is right there on your gravestone. Yeah.
Woo! Alrighty,
Yeah.
so Ben, we need your character rankings and an update on where we are overall after this episode.
Well, let's see. Best was Jack. Then I didn't have worst in this one. Like Jack was the best because he's doing what he does, yeoman service for all the people on the island. I would fuck Kate because why not? And then for the kill, it's just Boone because it was really just a mercy at that point. Plus, I've wanted to do that since the beginning. I think I've killed him several times already. This time, I hope he stays dead.
Unlike Ethan.
Yeah. And the power rankings. Now, I did this honestly before anything was changed. I know, Christy, you said you had changed Ethan around, but I'm just going to go off of what I had before those changes were made. We got Kate jumping back on top, swapping with Locke. I think Locke lost some ground this week. And we just got Jack still in third place, but holding strong. He has not moved in a while. The bottom of the barrel stays exactly the same. Shannon's in last. We got Ethan and Sawyer tied second, and then we got Mike not bringing up the rear, but one of the least, or what? I don't even know. I don't even know how to say this anymore. Like he's third worst.
He's third worst. Yeah.
Third worst. Yeah.
Mike, by the way.
Did I say Mike?
Yeah. Are you like super familiar with him now? Just Mike.
Yeah, well,
my buddy M is
my buddy M. Yeah. Oh, Mickey.
All right. I'm going to start my final impressions. It was a big episode, I think, in the way of, like we already touched on Circle of Life. There's a death. There's a birth. Life goes on this island.
Grief sex.
Grief sex.
What did you say?
Grief sex.
Grief sex. Yeah, absolutely. Big theme throughout the show. But for me, other than that, I don't know. I kind of just wanted to get through this episode and to get, I get closer to the end. It felt like a placeholder episode. I think I had the same reaction. I think all of us actually had that same reaction to episode 12, which was whatever the case may be, Kate's episode, where we were all kind of like, okay, I don't know. Let's just get on to the
holding pattern.
Yeah, this episode felt that way for me as well. I guess that's all I have to say about that. How about you, Christy? What were your final impressions?
Oh, I very much agree. It wasn't an unnecessary episode, meaning that like there's one episode coming up much later, not in this season. There's one episode coming up much later that the whole episode just does not need to be there. We learn
I know
nothing new.
exactly which one you're talking about.
Yeah,
it's season
extra.
3. We will talk about that because the writers did have some words about why they put that in there. We'll talk about that episode. You've already requested that you wanted to present that episode
because it's so awful.
Right. What you're saying, like this episode, it drives the plot still,
exactly,
but it's also kind of like a yawn.
Yeah, I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. We had to, get through the baby being born and Boone dying and, all of that. So we learned necessary things. Like you said, it moved the plot along. But yeah, it wasn't, it's meh.
Yeah.
Just meh.
Ben, what about you? What do you think?
Same. I mean, there was nothing. Yeah, there were no revelations in this episode. It was sort of like, I don't think it drove the plot. I think it sat within the plot. I don't think it really moved anything forward.
Okay, yeah.
Well, I think for me, the one thing that it moved forward is the idea that no matter what they do or their attempts to get off the island, or if their head is still in, we're getting rescued, life here on this island is going to continue.
Yeah.
Like, people are going to die and people are going to be born, and they can't escape that idea that they're stuck there, at least for now. So I think it pushes it forward sort of in that way, but other than that,
I mean, characters kind of live into themselves a little bit. You see Sun, like she's becoming more of like more of the kind of the healer helper sort of thing. Like she's very capable, and you're starting to see her kind of flex more in that way. Saeed's going the other way. He's turned into a poon hound and just is not really contributing much to the island
poon
anymore.
Hound. He takes one chick to a blanket on the beach. He's a poon hound.
Oh yeah.
He needs 3 more and he'll have an orgy.
Yeah. So
Derek.
yeah, I mean.
Oh, sorry, you're not finished. My apologies.
No, I actually am finished. It was I agree. It was just sort of a meh episode.
Okay, Derek, what were your final impressions, and what questions do you have for us this week?
Yeah, this was kind of a meh episode. I mean, it kind of drug out along, Boone's lingering death. But it was an okay episode, and it just shows that, one person died, another's born on the island, life goes on. And the question was kind of hard because there really wasn't much in this episode. The only thing I had was, what was Boone telling Jack to tell Shannon?
Oh, yeah.
He said, tell Shannon, but never finished.
Herpes.
I normally give you some hint as to whether or not that question will be answered, and it's something that
Maybe it wasn't answered.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. I imagine it was something like, tell Shannon to fuck off. That would have been awesome, actually.
It was loose.
Oh my God.
Throwing a hot dog down a hallway.
Yes, love that.
Wow. Okay. That would have been. Could you imagine if he's like, tell Shannon, and Jack leans in, he's like, she's terrible in bed.
And then Jack would be like, what? That's your sister.
Yeah. Wow.
He dies.
I think he just said the condom broke.
Oh God. All right. Listen up. Thank you for the episode, Derek, and your questions. This has been great. Next week, we're back with episode 21. It is The Greater Good, a Saeed and Christy episode. And
that's
we'll
what I
see you
said.
Oh, my God.
What?
You heard what I said.
Next week, everybody. Bye.
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 Signing off.
Lost in My 40s is a Space Bear Media production. Executive produced and edited by me, Lacy J. Sound engineering, editing, and original music by Benjamin Trim. Like and follow Lost in My 40s on Facebook to interact with your hosts. Plus, follow Space Bear Media on YouTube to watch our episode pre-shows. You can also find us at SpaceBear_media on Instagram and Twitter. Or come to our website, spacebearmedia.com.